What's up, Blue Jays fans, and welcome to another edition of Jay's latest part of the fan arc, Fun of Sports on YouTube. So, welcome to Jay's latest. I'm going to talk today about the recap of the Toronto Blue Jays versus the Boston Red Sox, and we're going to have a little fun on the way. So, first things first, the Blue Jays end up winning a very tight nail biter of a game yesterday, 2-1 against the Boston Red Sox at a very cold and chilly Fenway Park. So, Jeff Hoffman gets the win, but on the way to the crazy end of this game, which was a pitcher's duel of all things, Kevin Gossman had an outing. And this is typical Kevin Gossman, had an amazing outing, and the Blue Jays couldn't get enough run support to be able to take it to it. To give up the one run, but it was an unearned run. So there is that. Gossman ends up going 8 innings, 4 hits, 10 strikeouts. And that is the telling one because the last outing that he actually pitched, no strikeouts, none at all. But he had a couple of walks in that one where he had no walks. This is a very typical Kevin Gausman start. But the crazier thing is that he only threw 93 pitches in that. And I just can't imagine that whole kind of a thing because it's just wild because that's not how pitching goes these days. Usually, you throw 100 pitches in 5, 6 innings, it seems like these days. So Gossman had everything working for him. And this is, like I said, the only run he ended up giving up was on a sacrifice fly by Alex Bregman early in the game to score Jarian Duran. So Gossman looks like the ace that he was paid to be here for when he was signed as a Toronto Blue Jay. He's looked phenomenal. He's dotting his locations. His splitter is working. He's up. He's down. He's in and out. He's just keeping hitters completely baffled at the plate. And I think you saw that on full display yesterday for the Boston Red Sox lineup because at the end of the day, they could not hit anything. And 10 strikeouts in 8 innings, it's pretty damn solid for somebody like Gossman. So very cool. I couldn't believe it. I was very happy, very excited. But this was all in all a pitcher's duel. There was not a ton of offense going on this one, regardless of the Blue Jays being able to rake across 6 hits. Red Sox had, like I said, the only 4. Um, not enough offense, but there was just enough for the Toronto Blue Jays. But after an early score in the beginning of the game, Will Wagner grounded out and it just brought a run home. So that was Will Wagner getting an RBI on a fielder's choice. Andres Gimenez was moved around the pillows a little bit. I take that back. Vladdy was the one that scored that one. So my apologies. But it was a great night otherwise because there's just enough going on here. Like I said, the crazier part was the Blue Jays had 6 hits, and 2 of those were by Andres Gimenez, who continues to impress. Was on base actually 3 times yesterday. Um, who or yeah, Anthony Santander finally had another hit. Vladdy had the 3 of those hits, which was just wild. I love it that Vladdy's bat appears to be coming back to life. And hopefully those hard hit baseballs finally start going in the right direction because it's just needed for this Blue Jays offense, who is currently last place in the league with home runs. And that didn't change any yesterday. It just is what it is. But it this offense is going to be great if we can start hitting some home runs because at the end of the day, we're doing something pretty good right now. Seeing we're sitting in first place with not a ton of offense. Um, one thing I was looking up here that I didn't have in front of me was who had the hardest hits last night, and Rafael Devers had a ball that he had 110 miles an hour, and I saw that one. That was wild. It destroyed the baseball. But Anthony Santander's one hit was 109 miles an hour. Bo Bichette, Anthony Santander again on an out. And then Alejandro Kirk had a 102 mile an hour barreled baseball. But it's coming. I really think there's enough good things going on this offense right now that these hard hit balls are going to start landing for some of these guys. That Kirky hit, for example, he went over 4 yesterday, but he's still making up great baseball pieces. Ernie Clement ended up getting around the bases for one of those runs scored too. So That was the one that Bichette drove in at the end of the game on the sac fly to, like I said, end up taking the ball game for the Blue Jays. So what ended up happening at the end of this game, though? Because Kevin Gossman, like I mentioned, went 8 innings strong. So there's got to be something that made up the extra parts of this game because this was an extra innings affair. There was 11 innings in this game. So what filled in the blanks? Well, Jeff Hoffman filled in the blanks, and that was the fun part because he throws 2 innings, but in typical in Gossman like fashion, he threw 16 strikes out of his 20 pitches, and the Red Sox just couldn't do anything with it. He had 3 strikeouts in 2 innings, picks up the win, and then Nick Sandlin comes in and just drives it home. And I think this was Nick Sandlin's most impressive outing so far because he was just dotting his locations and he had the Red Sox hitters thinking they could swing out of their shoes a little bit. So he got the 1 strikeout and didn't give up a hits. The bullpen literally did not allow any hits and only allowed 1 base runner in 3 innings. So well played to Hoffman and Sandlin because that was key. This game was so tight to the point where it could have been taken by anybody. It was 1-1 all the way through the 11th inning when Bichette hit that sac fly, like I mentioned, and it's just, yeah, I couldn't believe it. If you total up the swing and misses from last night, Kevin Gossman had 17, Hoffman had 4, and Sandlin had 3. So meaning all 3 pitches or outside he recorded, he had some sort of a swing and a miss in those at bats. So just wild. Like I said, this is the only way I can describe yesterday. I know I've said that about 500 times in this one, but it was just clutch. Everybody did what they needed to do. The only thing that could have helped is more runs scored and make us a little bit one-sided. So let's talk to today, actually, because the Blue Jays are going to be playing an afternoon game on getaway day here on Thursday, and they're going to be playing the Red Sox, obviously, and it's going to be Walker Buehler versus Chris Bassitt. Walker Buehler has been kind of up and down in both his starts, but the one thing he's done is give up a lot of runs. He's given up 9 earned runs in just under 10 innings so far this season. I've always loved watching Walker Buehler pitch. I think he's got all the talent in the world. I loved watching him as a Dodger. I was kind of surprised he was the odd man out with the stuff that man has, but 'tis what it is, and that's baseball. And the Red Sox obviously cleaned up on that if he can get him back to normal. Opposing him, Chris Bassitt, who just like all of the Blue Jays starting pitching so far this year is on fire. So he's got 12 and 2/3 innings, and he's allowed 12 hits, only 1 earned run. So Blue Jays fans, there's the exciting part. And to this point, he's also got 16 strikeouts in both those starts. I'm looking very forward to seeing what this Chris Bassitt outing looks like because if this swing and a miss stuff keeps happening for the Boston Red Sox, it's only going to help the Blue Jays. So make sure you check that out. The Blue Jays will be, and then I believe going to Philadelphia. Let me check. I lost that one, but we can talk more about that in tomorrow's episode. So on that night, Blue Jays fans, have a great day. Hope you enjoy and tune in here and like and share and subscribe to Jay's Latest. If you're looking for something else a little bit more Blue Jays related, make sure you check out my other show, Jaybird Watching, because we actually had former big leaguer Bob File on the show yesterday, and wow, was that a fun time. He is a plethora of baseball knowledge, and I love the stories we were able to discuss with him. So make sure you check out that episode. It was really good. Until tonight, Blue Jays fans, cheers. Have a great day.